Well, good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, wherever you are in the world, joining us this evening at MACFEST. We're here for a very important event. It's part of the Youth Festival at MACFEST, and we are celebrating cultural heritage with a panel of teachers from Greater Manchester's schools and colleges. I'm your host for this evening. A little bit about me first. My name's Andrew Nowell, and I'm a journalist with Manchester World, and I've been a supporter of MACFEST for a couple of years now, hosting events and writing articles about it for our news website. This evening, we're going to be celebrating some fantastic work on diversity, on celebrating art, culture and heritage in schools and colleges across the city region, with a group of teachers and schools and colleges, educators, who have really embraced MACFEST and what the event and the festival is truly about. We'll be celebrating all sorts of good practices and hearing about the events and activities that they've been doing to celebrate MACFEST where they are. There are 4 people on the panel tonight. They are Kirsty Swift from the Freehold Community Primary Academy in Rochdale. No, in Oldham, sorry. Sorry, Kirsty, you're in Oldham, aren't you? We've also got Laura Anstey from Altrincham Grammar School for Girls, Laura Wiggins from Hopwood Hall College in Rochdale, and Michelle McLaughlin from the Trafford Colleges group that covers Stockport College, Trafford College, Cheadle College and Marple Sixth Form College. So they have a lot going on across their sites there, across a large swathe of Greater Manchester. So we're going to hear from all of them about what they've been doing for MACFEST. That's enough from me. So without any further ado, we're going to start with Laura Wiggins from Hopwood Hall College in Rochdale. Laura, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. So my name's Laura Wiggins, and I'm the ESOL Programme Manager at Hopwood Hall College. The ESOL and wider college community consists of learners from more than 90 different countries. So at Hopwood Hall, one of our strategic intentions is to be champions of inclusivity. We do this on a daily basis, but MACFEST gives us the opportunity to celebrate it together at our annual event with music and great food. We find that our students are proud to represent their culture. When first approached 3 years ago, I interpreted the Muslim Arts and Culture Festival as a way to learn English through reading. I've woven reading into each of our events as a way for culture to be explored by the ESOL students. Each event at Hopwood Hall so far has been a literary event. I choose a range of authors to discuss in the lessons in the run-up to our MACFEST, who reflect the ethnicity of the ESOL department. We've studied Lem Sissay, Maya Angelou, Tony Walsh, Simon Mia, Benjamin Zephaniah, and MACFEST's very own Kezra Shiraz. We've included music to celebrate the culture of our community, and have heard South Asian tabla drummers, Nigerian gospel singers, Iranian poetic songs, and Ukrainian acoustic guitar solos. We enjoyed delicacies from around our ESOL world in the ESOL marketplace, through Sudanese and Moroccan tea, samosas, pakoras, Middle Eastern sweet treats, and food from Africa and Europe. We celebrate various art forms, from fashion to sculpture, to calligraphy, to painting and drawing, in a cultural exchange. I like to involve a few classes who we explore the culture with, and then open it up to the whole department and college to draw upon and celebrate the amazing people, knowledge and skills we have. We try to make as much noise as possible and fill the college community senses with smells and sights from around our ESOL world. In addition to celebrating culture and diversity, I need the students to learn. I want them to increase their vocabulary, improve their pronunciation and discussion skills, encourage them to question what we are reading, develop their reading skills, and increase their knowledge of literature. I want my students to read for pleasure. If this happens, their language skills will naturally develop. Firstly, because lots goes on behind the scenes, as well as the celebration on the day. Firstly, I choose the author and plan the literature project over 6 weeks, the 7th week being the event. There are usually 4 or 5 teachers involved in the reading lessons, and we create resources and share them together, and then the learners are getting the same message from all of us. I found that a reading circle works really well to draw out cultural discussions and develop language skills. A reading circle consists of a discussion leader, a summariser, a connector, word master, passage person, and culture collector. Role sheets are provided to each learner with a description of their job, a space for their questions, comments, or key points, which they can then use in the reading circle discussion of the chosen text. Our first event included 5 level 1 and level 2 ESOL classes. We read Kesra Shiraz's A Pair of Jeans, explored the themes in class, prepared questions, and asked Kesra as part of a Meet the Author event. This was open to the public and enjoyed by guests of the college, as well as the ESOL department and the wider college community. Our second event was during COVID, so it was different as it was over Zoom, like this. One reading class of 11 learners participated in the Zoom, aged between 16 to 18, from Pakistan, Italy, Nigeria, Germany, Iran, Spain, and Romania. We read Simon Mears' short story, A Woman of Substance. They each had a reading circle role and prepared for discussions by summarising the story or making links to other different cultures, or identifying difficult words, or making connections to other topics and stories, or thinking about questions to ask each other about what they have read so far. Other ESOL classes and teachers completed the work in lessons and then participated in the Zoom as the audience, asking extra questions to Simon, sorry. During one of the preparation classes, one of the girls said, "She's just like me." It was that connection with Simon, the author, and it was lovely to see. Another learner said, "We would never discuss this in school in Italy. We had an opportunity to explore topics relevant and challenging to my learners and then discuss their thoughts with the author." Our third event was our most recent. It was a powerful event with emotional readings of poetry chosen from our learners' home countries. It was partly orchestrated with learners knowing which order they were in, and then we opened it up to the floor. I'm just looking at the thing that, the slides that are coming.
Yeah, just tell me, Laura, which slide.
Well, if you keep going, we've looked at
okay.
that. This is the celebration event in the marketplace. If you go to the next slide. This was the Zoom event. So that was Simon Mia there. And then this is where I am at the moment. Thank you, Hanan. So our third event was our most recent. It was a powerful event with emotional readings of poetry chosen from our learners' home countries. It was partly orchestrated with learners knowing which order they were in, and then we opened it up to the floor to welcome guest poets and even a song. This event was special in that it was inclusive to all. Regardless of which country the audience was from, they could understand in English or their mother tongue. In classes, we discussed the delivery of poems to make the understanding of the spoken word more accessible for all. And you could see this worked by the tears in eyes and genuine emotion in the room. Next slide, please, Anam. I'm lucky to have a great ESOL team who are also excited about taking part in the annual event and amazing students who love to party. We also have support from the senior management team and wider college community at Team Hopwood, who also enjoy celebrating with us. The impact of participation in MACFEST is great, as we unite the community by making connections through communication and culture. It's a great way of raising awareness of cultures and connecting people with long-lasting reach far beyond the Hopwood Hall community, who participate with social media posts and interaction, as well as the pride the learners feel about sharing their culture. Thank you, and apologies for the technological difficulties at the beginning.
Well, thank you very much, Laura, and that looks absolutely incredible what you're doing there at Hopwood Hall. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. We are going to move on next to Laura Anstey from Altrincham Grammar School for Girls to share what they're doing for MACFEST. So Laura.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Anstey from Altrincham Grammar School for Girls. I am head of dance and I also have the role of anti-racism champion. And as part of this role with my colleague Chidi, we run a group of students to be the school's diversity ambassadors. Our diversity ambassadors are a group of year 10, 11, 12 and 13 students who are passionate about anti-racism and celebrating diversity in our school. So how did we get involved with MACFEST? I ran a project in school in 2020 to 2021 to increase our diversity within the curriculum of the art subjects in school. And through this project, our local mosque put me in contact with Kossar, and I was amazed to see all of the work she and her team have done on promoting Muslim arts and culture through MACFEST. I signed our school up to participate in MACFEST, and I think we will always be a part of this festival now. So what did MACFEST look like at AGGS? Well, we decided that we wanted every subject to participate in MACFEST during a week-long celebration of Muslim arts and culture. So here is a small snapshot of what some subjects did. So here you can see, in business studies, students in year 10 and year 12 researched the work of Iman Al-Debi. She designs clothes for Muslim fashionistas and has a successful turban line that is sold in exclusive stores from Paris to New York. Students learnt about her journey from starting out as an entrepreneur to turning her passion into a lifelong career. Students studied how she has changed the fashion industry and then spent time looking for other influential Muslim designers too. In biology, students in years 10 to 13 watched and discussed a video of Dr. Rana Rajani, an influential Palestinian Jordanian molecular biologist, speaking on Islam and evolution. In music, year 9 students learnt about nasheeds and listened to some great Muslim artists. In dance, Key Stage 3 students all learnt the dabka from Palestine and the atan from Afghanistan. In maths, students created Islamic-inspired geometric patterns. In art, we welcomed local artist Ashfia Ashraf into school. Ashfia led an illumination art workshop, teaching some year 9 students how to create their own Turkish floral motifs. And this is just a snapshot of what some subjects offered during MACFEST week. We also had design technology year 7 participated in plastic forming in the style of furniture designer. Student studies letters from My Aunt in Pakistan in drama. In English, Key Stage 3 students studied Eid pictures, extracts from a poem by Jamila Tompkins, and focused on the joy of Eid and the aspect of coming together. While Key Stage 4 students the poetry Kal by Fatima Asghar, a poem exploring the concept of time in Islam through shared experience and language. During MACFEST week, our school assemblies for all year groups included guest speakers from our local mosque and TED Talks, including this one you can see here from Tez Ilyas, a comedian from Blackburn, on being a British Muslim. Our school diversity ambassadors and members of our school Islamic Society also led assemblies on what it means to be a Muslim and the history of Islam in Britain. And we, of course, welcomed the team from MACFEST into our school. In the school library, books by Muslim artists or with Muslim characters and books about Islam were on display and being promoted in the library all week. Our school Islamic Society, ISOC, organised some lunchtime sessions for all pupils and staff, including a henna session, the opportunity to try on Islamic clothing, and a calligraphy workshop. Our school language ambassadors also offered a lunchtime taster session to learn a basic introduction to Arabic. And this year, we've also changed our school's Culture Week to be the week immediately after MACFEST, which has worked really well. During Culture Week, we celebrate our school's diverse heritage and rich culture. At Culture Evening, we have lots of food stalls arranged by students, providing people with delicious food from around the world, and crafts from different cultures. We have a talent show held where students sing, dance, and read poems in their mother tongue languages, followed by a fashion show where people can show off their cultural dress. And the final day of our Culture Week is our Cultural Dress Day, where students attend school in clothes that represent who they are. And this could be traditional clothes from their cultural heritage or colours to represent their country's flag. So what does it mean to us and our students? Well, MACFEST has allowed us to celebrate Muslim arts and culture across our entire school community. It's brought Muslim and non-Muslim students together. It's allowed Muslim students to celebrate their culture and all students to understand their Muslim peers' identity and cultural heritage. We love being a part of MACFEST and would like to thank the MACFEST team for your guidance and support, and we are looking forward to next year already.
Wow, that's incredible, Laura, just how many subjects and how thoroughly you have that embedded across the whole school and the whole community there. I think I could see from the chat as well, that's inspired a few people watching and got people thinking about what they can do back at their own schools as well. I think we have some educators in the audience tonight for this webinar. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Laura. We are now going to make a swift trip across Greater Manchester to Oldham, where I'm going to bring in Kirsty Swift from the Freehold Community Primary Academy. Apologies for getting your geography wrong earlier, Kirsty.
It's okay.
I moved you across the border. Sorry about that. Yeah, Kirsty, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. I am just making sure that we are able to see the screen. Give me 1 second. I think I just need to edit something in terms of permissions, and then we hopefully will be able to see. Is everyone able to see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Fantastic. So good evening, everybody. My name is Kirsty Swift. I work at a primary school in Oldham in Manchester called Freehold Community Primary Academy. We are relatively early on our journey with MACFEST. We joined sort of with MACFEST last year. A little bit about our school itself. We are a primary academy, so we are children from nursery all the way through to year 6, so 3 to 11. We are part of a wider trust called Focus Trust. We serve 486 children, all of whom were involved in our MACFEST celebrations, and 56 staff members who were also all involved in our celebrations last year. And our sort of main community profile and the community that we serve are majority Pakistani and Bangladeshi heritage. So when I sort of came across MACFEST, it was really important to me to do a bit more research and get in touch with Kossar, and found that this was a great opportunity to champion our community and showcase them, give them a platform to show as a school how much we value their heritage, and give them an opportunity to explore that further and teach staff alongside learning themselves. So as I said, we're quite new on our journey with MACFEST. We joined in spring of last year, and we held our first event in our summer term last academic year. And we are currently planning for our next event we're very excited about. And you'll see some of the ways that we've developed our offer based on our first MACFEST celebration. So our first MACFEST, it was a fantastic day. It was something that it was completely new for our children and our staff. Everybody jumped on board. Everybody was very positive. Everybody was very motivated and engaged to get it right for our children. We had lots of workshops running throughout school, and as I said, we had children from as young as 3 to the age of 11 working with peers in different capacities. So our our sort of provision in our early years settings reflected spaces for children to explore, reflect and see objects and sort of decorative items that they would be familiar with, maybe in their own home, in their mosque. And it really opened up such great discussion, and from, you know, children 4 or 5 years old talking through how they pray at mosque and showing adults in their classes, welcoming visitors in and parents and sharing their favourite stories. We had Mendy workshops throughout school, and are very grateful to our parents who volunteered their time, as the staff will admit we are not experts in that, although we are doing our best to learn. We had parents in throughout the day working with children, and I think this was something that the parents really enjoyed just as much as the children did. We had an opportunity for our children to explore literature. Each cohort of children explored a different text that represented Muslim characters and highlighted different themes, and authors came in to share some of their experiences with our children too, which was really lovely, and gave them some real people to see and be inspired by. And from some of the feedback we had from students, I'm quite positive this raised some aspirations in terms of what our pupils felt they could achieve. We did lots of art throughout the different year groups with varying difficulty. So the art you can see on your screen is an example of our fantastic Year 6 children who were so committed and very focused, and really enjoyed an opportunity to explore in a different way. As you can see, we've got some of our fantastic parents and governors as well of our school who came in to volunteer their time and did lots of work in lots of different classes. Children had come up with some quite complex designs, I think challenged some of the adults that had volunteered time, but the children were so grateful that they could see their parents, their aunts, their uncles, their siblings coming into school and sharing this with them. We had a visit from author Hiba Noor Khan, who was very kind in coming in to speak to the children about her experiences as an author, and we've managed to get her to agree to come back and be part of our MACFEST again this year, and that was something that our children fed back. It was nice to meet somebody and be inspired by them, and they had lots of opportunity to ask many questions, and they really took advantage of this. We also challenged ourselves and decided we would attempt cooking with our children right from nursery all the way through to Year 6. And children made different recipes, they contributed in different ways, following recipes, cutting up ingredients, cooking together, and then sharing that food together at the end of the day, which is something I know the children enjoyed. And again, lots of exploration into the work of different artists in different year groups. So our children really got a diverse range of opportunities. And, you know, age was no barrier to that. You know, as I say, every child 3 to 11 was involved in this celebration. So in terms of what it means to us as a school and the impact that we've seen just from our first year and sort of our incentive to keep going and make it bigger and better for our pupils really fed back that they enjoyed looking at artwork, that they felt very calm and peaceful when they were working in their workshops, which is really lovely feedback, I think, to get, especially when we think about the experience some of our pupils in schools in the UK have had in the last few years. The children really like to do things that they'd never done before, so making some of the meals and cooking using some different ingredients that maybe some children had never experienced. They enjoyed the Mendy. That was a big hit and definitely something that I think we will have to 100% commit to every year. I don't think any parents or children will be happy if that falls off the agenda, so it's definitely staying again for this year. Yeah, and I think it's really lovely when you walked around school on the day. The children had such a buzz about them, and, you know, as I said, our main community profile is Muslim children of Pakistani and Bangladeshi heritage, but actually our profile is diversifying in our community. And something that's really important to us is, although this may be the majority profile of our community, we're showcasing that, and other pupils who may not have experience of that community prior to joining our school are getting to be immersed in that and have really positive interactions with other children, and seeing how much pride they have for their own culture and finding out about that. And I think that's something that, again, you know, children have fed back. They like learning about different cultures, and it was something that they don't usually do, and enjoyed an opportunity to do that in our school setting. We had lots of parent volunteers, and we had some great feedback from our parents as well. The first comment that I've sort of captured there was one parent said to me that they felt really welcomed and as though they fitted in. And I think that's a really lovely reflection from a parent, and shows that it was a very inclusive day, and it was all about everybody feeling welcome, being part of a community. And you know, as a community primary school, that's really important to us to promote that feeling. Lots of parents said they'd not heard of MACFEST before, so we've managed to raise the profile of the organisation with our parents, as well as hosting our own events. And I think that's something that our parents have taken away, and I hope have made, you know, good use of the opportunity to get involved in other events throughout the MACFEST calendar. I think something that all parents sort of identified was walking around the school and working with children on that day. They could just see the joy on their faces, and I think that that speaks volumes to how important it is that we do things like this with our community and the impact it can have on our pupils. Our staff as well, lots of our staff were getting stuck in and really enjoyed the day themselves. I think they were really proud of the children for how involved they got. Particularly when we were speaking to visitors and exploring literature, some of which had quite challenging topics for our children to unpick. They were really overwhelmingly positive, and they really wanted to get deep in there. They really wanted to explore, and all children, not just our Muslim children. They enjoyed learning about different people who are Muslim and what they've achieved. And I think that that's something, again, that raising that profile in our school and promoting aspirations for our children and saying, this is what you can do, and really seeing people they could relate to in order to widen their sort of maybe potential opportunities and what they feel they might pursue in the future. And I think parents enjoyed coming in just as much as staff enjoyed making those connections with parents again. You know, after a few years of not being able to have people come into school as we would have, it had been really lovely to have our parents and staff and children all in one place and celebrating together. So, as I said before, we did lots of work around Muslim artists as part of our day. And we took a lot of inspiration from the Women's Muslim Arts Foundation, which is something that we discovered through our links with MACFEST. We were inspired by lots of artists who were showcased at Whitworth Art Gallery, and I took this and sort of built this into our day, into our celebration. And that was definitely something the children really enjoyed, learning about the artists and creating art, you know, inspired by their work. As you saw before, and I mentioned, we had author Hiba Noor Khan come in and share her story, latest book with us, and the children really enjoyed this. And I think particularly as well, to meet a female Muslim author was something that was important for our pupils, and to show what they can achieve and just keep raising those aspirations and not let them feel like there's a glass ceiling, you know, really push them forward and show them what they're capable of. And this year, a new connection that we've made again through MACFEST, we are very grateful for the connections we're able to make, is with calligrapher Samir Malik, and he is going to be doing some calligraphy workshops with our oldest pupils. That was something that children fed back that they were really keen to develop, and yeah, we've managed to build that into this year, so we're really looking forward to that. And he's going to be supporting us to describe our core principles and our school's values so that we can display that to visitors when they come in, and it sort of shares that diverse profile of our school. So in terms of how we're sort of developing this year, our MACFEST this year is only a few weeks away, so we're full steam ahead organising. So we've, as I said, we've taken that pupil feedback, and I think it's important that we adapt to what our pupils enjoyed most, what our parents want to see, because, you know, we are representing them, we're celebrating them, so giving them that voice in the planning process. So we've got parent coffee mornings where I'll be meeting with parents and asking for their input. What would they like to see? What can they offer to our events? Developing our connections further with visitors and other members of the wider MACFEST organisation. And the event that we're most looking forward to this year, and is definitely something that I'm very excited for, is our community iftar, where we are opening up our school during Ramadan, and we are going to be inviting Muslim and non-Muslim members of our local community together to break fast. And that's something that I'm working with some of our pupils in, creating invitations and going out into our community and personally inviting, you know, business owners, the local doctors, surgery. We're going to another school just down the road, the church down the road. So we're going to really try and bring all these people together and celebrate. So as I said, this year we've got lots going on. We've got our community iftar, we're hosting our Eid parties, we've got workshops on calligraphy, we've got parent planning events, we're also having some parent cooking workshops and food tasting, where we're inviting parents to share food with the children from all of their cultures and their, their favourite dishes, and get the children to have that opportunity to sit and enjoy a meal with each other and with their parents. So that's something that we don't always have an opportunity to facilitate in school, but we definitely are for our MACFEST celebrations. We'll be continuing our art workshops and our literacy workshops, and we'll be also having another visit from an author to really sort of spread out our learning across all areas and not just focusing on one, embed it into our curriculum in different ways. And that's all from me.
Andrew, can I just add a little bit? My goodness.
Of course.
These are amazing presenters, amazing work they've all done. Now, I want to mention for Kirsty, their school came late. They joined us in the middle of our festival. And not only that, they wanted a banner as well. So they had a banner outside their school, and they're going to have another banner this year. So thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you, Kossar.
Yeah, it's amazing, Kirsty, everything that you're doing there, both to celebrate and reflect the heritage of the community you serve and bringing people of different cultural backgrounds together at the same time. That's superb there. Well, finally, I'm going to now introduce Michelle McLaughlin from the Trafford College Group to discuss what they do for MACFEST. So, Michelle, all yours.
Okay, hi everybody. Yes, I'm Michelle McLaughlin, and my role, I'm not a teacher, I am the student experience manager across the Trafford College Group. So my role really, I feel like I've got the best role in the college actually, because I work very closely with all our young adults, all our student body, to make sure that we're able to facilitate what they want to see in the college and across the whole Trafford College Group. So just to give a bit of context as to the size of the college, so we are a college group of 4 colleges across 5 sites in the Stockport borough and in the Trafford borough. We have Stockport College, the Cheadle College and Marple Sixth Form College in the Stockport borough, and we have Trafford College in the Trafford borough with North Trafford and South Trafford colleges, one in Stretford and one in Altrincham. Just to give an idea. So we've got around 11,000 young adults who are studying with us at the moment, and we are really fortunate that we have a really rich and diverse student cohort across our college group. And my job, as I say, is to make sure that their voice is heard and that they are seeing around the college the type of activities that they want to see. And just to give a bit of an idea of how I came across MACFEST, I actually pursued Kesra to get involved with MACFEST. As I say, I was outside Stockport College one day, and on the side of a lamppost outside the War Memorial Museum, which is just next door to the college, was a poster. A poster had been put up, and I stopped to have a read of the poster and got all the details from the front of the poster, and then went into the War Memorial Museum to speak to the facilitator behind the counter in the museum to ask how I could get in contact with MACFEST, because I knew when I read the small amount of information that was on there that it would be an incredible opportunity for our students and something that we would be looking to champion across our college group. So if we can move on to the first slide, we had a conversation, myself and Kesra, at the start of I think it was 2020, and we talked about how we could potentially get involved and the richness of the activities that we wanted to be able to provide, and that this was just before the global pandemic hit. So as we all know, the global pandemic hit, and so we had to look at imaginative ways of making sure that we were able to put on our festival, and it was a festival. You know, we see it as a big party for MACFEST, and see how we could introduce it to our students in the most appropriate way, which at the time, because we were all under lockdown, was going to be a virtual festival that first year. So during that first year, we looked at 3 themes. We looked at an art critique session. This is just some of the artworks from our students, but we actually did an art critique session from famous Muslim artists, and we had our higher education students who study art and design do a recorded critique of the artworks, what they saw, what they felt about the artworks they saw, and what they felt about the artists that they were researching and seeing the work of. That was a really well attended session. As I say, it was all done virtually, so it was you know, an unusual, as we all know, an unusual time. But something that we were really proud of. So then the second activity was we went to our hospitality area at our Altrincham campus, and our hospitality tutor, one of our main tutors over there, was able to do a demo and put together some recipes for some Arabic cookies. I think we're passing through some of the pictures here, but it was a whole selection of Arabic baking. And during those activities, we had our students in classrooms following the direction that they could see on the recording of how to bake the items that were in that selection. Those are the ones that you can see there. So it was an activity that both our students and the wider public could join in if they wanted to follow that baking session that was put on by our hospitality session in Altrincham campus. And then if we move on, again, just bearing in mind it was the time of lockdown, so we had to think of a way in which our tutors and our students were able to work together in terms of touching and creating in terms of the henna hand art and design. And so again, it was a recorded session. We had one of our beauty students and our beauty tutors who one of our tutors who came from Muslim heritage was able to do a really authentic design work on another person, following all our COVID regulations, as you can imagine, at the time. But the festival itself was really well attended virtually, and our principal, James Scott, is completely on side with developing all of the activities that we can in terms of celebrating MACFEST. So moving on to last year, where we were outside of that awful COVID period, we were able to hold a great party-like activities, and we did it across 5 sites. Pre this, we had weeks of our events planning team. So the key for us is that it's student-led, that we weren't telling students we're doing X, Y, and Z, that we made sure it was our students who decided what they wanted to see, what they wanted to talk about, and what they wanted to showcase. And as I say, we're such a widely diverse cohort of students. We had Muslims and non-Muslims taking the lead in the activities that went ahead. Some of the activities were around, as you can see, there was an art exhibition. So our students decided which artworks they wanted to see in the art exhibition, which artists they wanted to see exhibited in their art exhibition at each site. And then we had a student on hand who was able to talk about the artworks, and we had our media students doing vox pop interviews with our student planning team to discuss with them why they'd chosen particular artworks, why they'd chosen particular artists. That art exhibition actually had a really great social value aspect to it as well, because those artworks, we had our students had chosen them, we ordered them, and we had them delivered and printed on canvases so that we could exhibit them across our college group. And then at the end of MACFEST, actually, they were put up for auction, and the funds that came from those artworks from last year were sent to support the Ukrainian appeal. So it was 100% social value in terms of the activity that went on. So that was the art exhibition. We also had some of the parents of our students. One particular parent has a very well-known restaurant and event venue in Greater Manchester, and he sent his he's the parent of one of our students at Cheadle campus, and he sent a member of his staff with a whole range of restaurant food, and not only did he send his member of staff to put out this restaurant food, this magnificent buffet and celebration for us, he also had his staff remain there to set it up, to make sure everything was presented as it should be. He remained for the whole of the morning and set it out for us and for our guests, and it was actually very much like a wedding. It was a fantastic event, fantastic food that was delivered there. We had our students decide on the playlist, the music that they wanted to hear, and we had our students decided, this was last year, they decided whether they want to come in cultural dress or not. This year it became it became more widespread, and we had cultural dress for this year's activities. But the whole sense of it was a real party atmosphere that brought people together. So particularly last year's event, the Next Student newsletter, which again is written for students by students across the Trafford College Group. There were so many focus articles on what being part of that event meant to them, how they felt that they were being valued, how they felt that they could develop their friendships, how they had made friends actually. So this is one of our student newsletter, and some of our students' testimony about being part of it and how it made them feel really valued by the college, by the local community, and how they developed new friendships on those days, people that they'd been to college with and passed by in corridors and had never stopped to say hello to, but because they had exchanged skills and showcased their own skill set in delivering MACFEST. We had both Muslims and non-Muslims develop friendships that have remained and that stay during the whole of their college life. So again, some of these are some of the articles that were written by our students there. That one of our students who described it as the best experience of her life. So that was incredible for us to read, and she's now one of our student governors. Actually, she's gone from strength to strength, and it just shows how activities that support community cohesion and bringing people together can be such a mainstay in educating our young people and allowing them to lead, because some of the activities that were delivered and that they'd requested to be put on last year, I wouldn't have thought of them at all, and they were so committed to attending Teams meetings in the evenings, because I wasn't allowed to bring them out of classes for Teams meetings for the organisation, and yet they wanted to take charge of the organisation and the delivery. We had a team lead at each campus. You can imagine over 5 sites, delivering over 5 sites on the same day. We had team leads at each campus who checked on who was delivering on the art exhibition, who was delivering on the food counter, who was delivering on the henna hand art. It was a really cooperative exercise in leadership. And our students, they are developing their confidence and resilience, as well as sharing that message of inclusive behaviour and inclusive activities. It has been a huge strength to us as a college, and this is our 3rd year of delivering. It was only last week that we delivered our 3rd set of activities, and it has its place in our college calendar. So when I'm planning for next year, I'm booking my days in for MACFEST. It has its place in our college planner, like exam season, like revision, like, you know, it has its place there now, and it's fixed with us. So this is the images you're looking at now are from this year. So these were only last week. And when I say that it was absolutely enjoyed by everybody that came through, staff and students. So our head of the GCSE programme, I was talking to him earlier in the day, and I said, Saki, why haven't you come in your cultural dress? All your students have. He was telling me about the level of excitement that was going on in the classroom before they came down to take part in MACFEST and be party to delivery of it. And he said, well, I have actually got mine with me, and he got changed and came down. And do you know, that was so inspirational for our students. He was like a Hollywood film star for the day. Everybody wanted their photograph taken with their tutor, which was incredible as well. You know, it was a really shared cultural experience where staff and students came together, and members of the community as well came together to take part and enjoy the event that was being delivered. So, as I say, those are images from this year's MACFEST, which we were delighted to have Kesra and Hanan attend. I'm sure they got fed up of smiling. They must have been, their toothy grin must have been fixed on their faces all day, because everybody was snapping and taking their pictures of the event. We have a new newsletter which is currently being prepared with everybody's recollections of organising the event and being part of the event and what it meant to them. That's the most important thing, what it meant to them. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be coming out next week, the next newsletter. And as I say, it has a really valuable part of our college planner each year, and will remain so. So I think that's probably all I want to say about it. But just to say, it's an incredible event. If anybody's listening who's thinking of taking part in MACFEST, I couldn't recommend it highly enough. The reflected glory you get from it, I haven't stopped smiling since. So it's really hard work and it's busy, but it's such a huge boost to our students' confidence. I had a meeting with the leader of Trafford Council last night, who knows Kesra very well too, and our students were talking about it to him as well, and what it meant to them to be part of it. So I think Kesra's got a hand up there.
I think I'll let Andrew say first.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Michelle, for that. Amazing.
Welcome.
Hopefully an inspirational for people as well that are from a group of colleges that has absolutely embraced what MACFEST is all about. I think that comment there from your students who said it was the best experience of their life, I think that kind of says it all, really. So yes, thank you very much. So that's all the presentations for this evening. So Kesra, would you like to perhaps say a couple of words before we close up this evening's event?
Yes, indeed, to honor these amazing ladies who joined us today. I'm lost for words. Every single one of you have done absolutely incredible work. And you know what? I'm so glad I had this idea. I said, showcase the teachers, what brilliant work they've done and what we've seen here. I'm just so proud of you, so proud of what you've done, the vision, the dedication, the hard work, what is meant to your children. And you know, every single person is a star. Would you agree, Andrew? Would you all agree? You're all all stars, absolutely. I think the whole world need to see this video. Please, if anyone know, and you know what, you have an Ofsted inspector with you today. Not me, I was, but there's Hermesh Mangra. He's an Ofsted inspector, and he works in college, and he's been writing all these lovely notes, and he's going to pass on the messages, the good practice, the fantastic work. He really values the work because he's an educationist. I really value the work. And being an educator myself, hats off to you, because it's not easy doing this. One little event is so hard, let alone 5 campuses. Think about it. Let alone throughout the school, let alone 5 days of it. The sheer dedication, the commitment, the hard work, the championing, and the sincerity with it. You know, you really believe in it, you love doing it, and you demonstrated that. I could go on and on and on, singing your praises. I'm just so proud to have you as a part, and I'm so glad that you've done this, because you have transformed lives. You made the minority children proud of who they are. You're making a difference to their lives, and at the same time, you are breaking barriers, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, educating people, and you've educated in so many innovative, amazing ways. And I could carry on. I don't know what to say. I'm going to stop there. So thank you, Laura Wiggins, amazing lady there. Thank you, Kirsty, amazing lady. Thank you, Michelle, amazing lady. And of course, Laura Anstey, another amazing lady. I think you people need to maybe come together and do something, showcase this somewhere else, because the idea, it's MACFEST, but really what you've done is celebrate diversity. It goes beyond MACFEST, doesn't it? Do you want to say anything, ladies, please, before we finish? I just feel, everybody, I just need to keep clapping.
Actually, I'd be more than happy to do something collaborative with the other colleges and schools that are involved. You know, we could look at doing something that we showcase across our organisations. So I'd be more than happy for us to link up.
Absolutely. So you've got a primary school, you've got a secondary school, you've got further education, you've got college, you've got right across the breadth. So amazing. What can I say? So hopefully you will end up at our partners iftar as well. So we'll see you. And above all, thank you so much to our attendees who joined it, and I'm so glad, brother Harmesh, that you joined us from Coventry as well, so you can really value, like me, the work that these stars have done. Andrew, you've done a terrific hosting, and Tom in the background, you've been amazing, and Hanan for all your lovely hard work with our special stars today. So everybody, good night, and assalamu alaikum. See you next time.